You may remember her story from past 4 weeks on AgingRights.com. And you'll remember she grew up in Pakistan. She was her parents' golden child, and she was writing brilliant articles on social justice issues for national newspapers before she was even in high school. She was planning to become a UN ambassador or a CNN correspondent, but when her family immigrated to the Pacific Northwest, just before she entered 10th grade, everything changed for her, which happens often in our young lives. She became, quote, as she said in our story, the token brown girl in her school, one of only 10 students of color in a school of 700, but she stayed focused on her passions of writing and exploring different cultures despite this change in her environment. Her college goal was to attend either Cornell or Stanford, but she had to overcome some major obstacles to even graduate from high school on time. And as she weighed her options, she started to think community college might be the best next step for her. While she didn't end up applying to the Ivy Leagues, Abiha did submit an application to the University of California on a gut instinct and a nudge from a friend. And you'll remember, if you've been reading along, that she not only graduated high school in what she calls a, quote, huge, crazy miracle, but she also gained admittance to the University of California at Irvine and thrived there. She majored in international studies and got involved in the Muslim Student Association, 2 different impactful mentor groups, and held 2 nonprofit internships that each provided a lot of great insight into the kind of work she really wanted to dedicate her time and talent to once she graduated. So now, let's get the scoop from Abiha herself and our young power woman of the month, Abiha. Hey.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Okay, girl.
Okay.
Thank you for taking the time out of your Sunday to join us and share your story.
Good.
I really appreciate it. Okay, girl. So there's more of your story. The end of your story is still to come on AgingRights.com, but for our guests who've signed on, they get the inside exclusive end of your story from you. So tell us where your career and your journey has taken you, where you've steered yourself as a young professional power woman since you graduated from college.
Okay, so after graduating from UCI in 2010, I knew that I wanted to pursue a career in the nonprofit sector. So almost immediately after, I started an AmeriCorps program called City Year Los Angeles, and I was working with at-risk youth at a middle school in Boyle Heights, East LA, and that was an very eye-opening experience, and it was just an amazing experience. Really taught me a lot, and I think we had a saying amongst the core members that if you can survive City Year, you can do anything, and I agree with that. So after that, I went and worked at Habitat for Humanity of Greater Los Angeles. So that's another nonprofit, very well known, and tackles the issue of affordable housing in the greater LA area. So with City Year, I was focused on education. With Habitat, I was focused on affordable housing. After some time there, I made the jump to UCLA, their Cancer Center Foundation. And there I was working with cancer research. And so they were very different nonprofits that I worked at, but gained tons of experience about how these different shops work. And so most recently, or currently, I'm working at the Los Angeles LGBT Center, which honestly is, it's a large organization. It's one of the largest providers of programs and services for the LGBT community in the world. And what I love about it is that they have 22 different programs. And so whereas in the past I was focused on education, affordable housing, cancer research, here It's so multifaceted. There's, medical facilities, there's youth homeless services, there's senior services, there's legal, there's just all kinds of programs. So that's where my career has steered me.
Wonderful. So let me follow that up with what you love most about what you're doing now at the Los Angeles LGBT Center, and what you've learned about yourself as a professional there. Or why the mission resonates with you. Just general feelings on where you're at and how it's helping and impacting you.
Personally, I love where I work, and one of the biggest reasons is that I am South Asian, I'm Muslim, I'm an ally, and I'm breaking stereotypes just by virtue of working there. I'm, exposing my own South Asian community to the LGBT community that exists in South Asian society as well, but is often ignored. And in my workplace, I'm a practicing Muslim, and so I'm showing my coworkers and colleagues that all Muslims aren't what the media portrays them to be. So I really like that aspect personally, because it just makes me feel like it's my little personal crusade to change perceptions. In addition to that, I mean, the people I work with are just amazing and so passionate and enthusiastic about the work we do. Back in June, when the marriage equality was passed in by the Supreme Court, it was just amazing to see. People were in tears. Like the jubilation amongst my peers was very infectious. And our CEO, she has been on the forefront of that battle for 30 years. She's very well known, and so to see her, her emotions, because no one thought it would be possible in their lifetime, and for that to happen, it just made me feel like I'm part of a movement, and I just love that. That's honestly the best part of working there.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah.
I had to write down, quote, personal crusade to change perspectives. That was too good not to write down. So that's awesome.
Awesome.
Okay, and then if you could just tell us a little bit about what other volunteer or leadership, professional development activities that you engage in outside of work, how else you spend your free time.
My free time. So I work in the development department, and I do database management. So a lot of my workday is spent in the office behind a desk. But as a person, I love working and serving the communities that I want to serve. And so in the evenings, after I get off my day job, I tutor homeless children with a nonprofit called School on Wheels. In addition to that, I was a volunteer project leader with LA Works, another local nonprofit here in LA. And part of that was I used to lead arts and crafts activities at a transitional shelter in Koreatown called Alexandria House. What else did I do? I recently ended a South Asian Women Leaders program that was just an amazing experience through South Asian Network, which is a local grassroots community organization in the greater LA area. In the past, I have helped facilitate workshops with them on, rape culture, South Asian perceptions, all kinds of things like that. And most recently, I've been working with a colleague at the LGBT Center to create and, implement a leadership experience or a retreat for our team, the rest of our team. So yeah, keeping myself busy.
Wonderful. That reminds me really quickly, just an ad hoc question. How did that rafting trip go that was in support of homeless youth and seniors? Was that fun? Was it crazy?
It was crazy. It was an adventure for sure. It was a fundraising opportunity to raise funds, like you said, for homeless youth and senior services that the LGBT Center serves. And so I was successful in meeting my goal. And I went river rafting, first time ever. It was very scary, and I'm not a swimmer. So I fell in the water more than anyone else on that trip. There's a picture of me with my legs sticking out into the air from the water, and yeah, so it was a lot of fun. It was an adrenaline rush for sure, and I'm really glad that I got to step out of my comfort zone, and then I realized I need to learn how to swim. So yeah, I'm taking swimming classes. Ooh.
Awesome. Very cool. I'm glad it went well.
Yeah, and I'm alive.
Yes. Okay, so let's get into a few questions about your work with me and how Aging Rights has supported you. So, how has working with Aging Rights changed your perspective or your experience with job applications and the interview process?
So, when I graduated in 2010, it was a very different job market. And I believe for every graduating senior, it is. And so back then, sent in so many applications, so many resumes, personalizing cover letters. I mean, it's not a fun task. And personally, I cannot stand personalizing cover letters because I know that it's needed. It's the only way I'm going to get an interview. But, the likelihood, just the chances of getting putting that much effort into personalizing something and not hearing back from them, it can get very demoralizing. And so working with you and Adrian Wrights has been amazing because it takes thing I don't like to do off my plate. And actually the quality of your writing and work has is just so amazing that I do get those callbacks. I do get those interview, emails that, hey, we'd like to interview you. And so I that's honestly been probably the number one reason that I enjoy working with you. So yeah, so last year when I was making the jump from Habitat to the next step in my career and I was applying for different positions, I started working with you, and you just put in so much effort and trying to get to know me and my own story and crafting it into this narrative that I could not only feature in my resume but also my cover letter, and then show that in my interview as well.
Yes. Awesome. Okay, and what do you find most valuable about the resources and support that Aging Rights provides, either on the one-on-one basis or in general with just sort of advice that's sent out, stuff like that?
Um, I really like how like personal it is. You are very fun to work with and you like get it. Like you understand what, a young professional 20 something career woman wants, and because of your own experience, your own career trajectory, how like each position was, a title higher, like significant pay raises, what it takes. And so I think your experience and that expertise there is very valuable. And then more than anything, you're fun to work with. You're there if I have any questions. You're very quick turnaround. And I really like the career advising portion as well. So it's not just like, hey, let's just get this resume and cover letter out for you. It's like, so what is your dream? What is your goal? And how is this position going to, help you go towards that? So yeah.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Advising and the strategy behind it is important, because I don't want you or any of my clients to end up somewhere, just to be in a job. So thinking about what's behind your desire for this application.
The bigger picture. The bigger picture.
Right. And then finally, what would you say to a young lady or woman of any age who is thinking about working one-on-one with me and with Aging Rights?
It's worth it and you will not regret it, because everyone has their skill, their things that they're good at, skills that they excel at. And Andrea is really good at writing, and really good at writing, tailoring job resumes and cover letters and promotion proposals and LinkedIn profiles, and that's her skill and she's amazing at it. So if that's something you personally aren't very good at, which is, as women, I don't know, I'm stereotyping here and generalizing, but we're not very good at talking about ourselves and how awesome we are. And Andrea captures that. And so if you have any hesitation, just get over it, because it's really worth it to work with Andrea. I mean, personally, I'm so grateful that I did. In the last year that I've been working with Andrea, I myself have, gained more confidence in my own abilities most recently. And this is actually very new. It's not official, so my coworkers don't know it yet, but it's official with my boss and HR. They offered me a promotion and a raise. So I am going to be a development project manager. So that's something I'm very excited about. And I would not have asked for this promotion. I wouldn't have, you know, put myself out there if it hadn't been for the confidence that I've gotten reading the emails that Adrian Wright sends out every, month, every week. And so, yeah, that's the big thing in my life. So I've been like, I went from an assistant to a coordinator to now a manager within the span of 5 years since I graduated college. So, yeah.
Congratulations, young
Thank
power woman.
you. Thank you.
I'm so excited. And when we did our first run of this that had some technical difficulties, I remember you saying something along the lines of, Andrea's going to be by my side until I'm a CEO of a nonprofit, and that just warmed my heart. And Abiha is my first client, so it's really exciting to see where you've grown and moved into these positions of leadership, and to know that we're going to be partners in these endeavors for a
Definitely.
good couple more decades.
Yes, definitely. My goal is to be a CEO of a nonprofit one day, an executive director, as they're called. And so the way I'm going to get there is through, storytelling, and that's where you excel at. So you'll be there. You have no choice.
Thank you, girl.